I am pleased to welcome Professor Genovese as today's commencement speaker. Professor Genovese.
Thank you, Dean Wong. President Weber, Provost Marlin, colleagues, guests, and graduates of the class of 2008. And here we are again. Here yet again performing the age-old ritual to recognize academic talent, effort, accomplishment, and excellence. Here performing a ritual not unlike those in the first European universities 9 centuries ago. Rituals in which graduates officially commenced into the community of teaching scholars. Those medieval academic institutions found their origins in the grand solemnities of ancient Rome and the celebrations and ceremonies of the ancient Greeks, who were obsessed with seeking, as they put it, the beautiful and the good. Rituals mark achievement, but also they enfold their participants in a tradition that is an inheritance that identifies what we deem valuable and therefore sacred. In this afternoon's ritual, we, like our predecessors, affirm the worth of our intellectual tradition, the liberal arts. The Greeks gave honor and praise to those who distinguished themselves in arts and letters, no less than they honored those who proved their mettle in other challenges. The baccalaureate degree literally recalls Apollo's laurel wreath placed on the heads of honored poets, artists, and scholars. In the sacred Olympics, victors not only were crowned with wreaths of olive branches and were given prizes, but they also gained glorious fame, kudos, through odes sung on special occasions by poets such as Pindar. In one such poem, Pindar proclaims that when those who have shared hospitality achieve success, honest folk promptly smile at the sweet report. In that same song, he reminds us that close examination is the thorough test of mortals. If my privilege and responsibility today is to be your Pindar, I'm here to proclaim that if any mortals have been examined and tested thoroughly, you have. And we who have offered the hospitality of these halls do indeed smile with great pleasure and, in some cases, great relief that you have achieved success. The rousing symphonic strains that accompanied your procession into this arena were Johannes Brahms's academic festival overture. It crescendoed with the old university anthem, Gaudiamus igitur juvenes dum sumus. Let us then rejoice while we are young. Well, go ahead. You're young, rejoice. That feels good, doesn't it? But what now? What's next? Yes, no doubt, vacation, travel, summer school, graduate school, get a job. You know, for years I told graduates, if you can, forget the job and enjoy yourself. Gaudiamus. But now I wonder whether you any longer have that option. This year I'm wondering whether you have the time to linger. Because I'm wondering, frankly, what's happened to us? When I earned my degrees a while back, after all, it was in the century before this one, many of us had been schooled in a new awareness, a sense of hope and opportunity, not only for ourselves, but for America, for the world. It hadn't yet become a cliche to be inspired to ask what we could do for our country. And I think that although we didn't always get it right, we began to change things. But somewhere along the way, things have gone from not quite right to terribly, alarmingly wrong. And so I'm asking, what's happened to us? The world of the 1960s was simpler. Our principal concerns were erasing our acrid racism, turning our government away from the paranoid intrigues of the Cold War and nuclear proliferation, and extricating ourselves from a disastrous military misadventure in Southeast Asia. As college graduates, many stood and worked against the establishment, and many chose careers for altruistic and humane purposes. If ours was not the greatest generation that sacrificed to preserve what was right about America, at least in great part, we were determined to change what was wrong about America. We called for, we marched for nuclear disarmament, world peace, and an end to the Vietnam War, for civil rights and other political and personal freedoms. And we made some progress. But I think that the years and disappointments took their toll. And along the way, we and the generation we spawned turned more to ourselves than to others. First to our own necessities, then to our luxuries, with little thought for the greater consequences. Arrogant, self-absorbed, greedy for instant gratification, spoiled by technology's quick fixes. Until now. Now, looking only a few years into our future, we see a grave and palpable threat, not merely to our way of life, but to life itself. The dubious victory is at last nearly in our grasp. Barely 2 centuries of greed and waste are driving us, accelerating us to an early planetary grave.